Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for Nevi Letcher's book launch. Can we just stop there and have a moment of celebration, please? Nevi's book launch. A round of applause, Nevi. My name is Nicole Austin, and it's a privilege and an honor to be here today. I think there was a long waiting list of people applying for this position, and I'm very lucky that I got to be here to share this with you. I have been there over the years and watched Nevi not just succeed and win and overcome at life, but also evolve as a human in the most beautiful way. And I asked a few of her friends, who you're going to hear from just now, I asked them to describe her in a couple of words. And the first words out of both of their mouths independently were dynamic and dynamite. I don't know if any of you can agree. Any of you who know Nevi? Yes? So there's a saying about people and dynamite. It goes something along the lines that everybody is like a stick of dynamite on the inside, but it takes having their fuse lit to see results. And I think certainly we've all had our fuses lit last year with the incredible season that we all went through. How was 2020, everybody? I think it was one incredible time of pivoting for most people, but not many of us in this room took 2020 and all the challenges that it threw at us and wrote a book. So on that note, I want to introduce to you, you can have a look over here, the brand new Mind Your Own Business by Nevi Letcher. Can we have another round of applause, please? All right, we're going to do a quick stretch to warm things up this morning. Everybody touch their toes. Genuinely. Everybody reach down and touch the right leg of your chair. And reach underneath. Is there anything tied to your chairs? 3 of you. Lift up your chairs. And 3 of you will be walking away with a very special prize for doing the best stretch and choosing the best position in the room. So you've got to dig on your chair underneath the fabric. On the leg of the chair, there should be a ribbon. I'm excited if none of you find them, because then I'm keeping all 3. I'm going to give you a second to find those. In the meantime, run! Oh, I'm taking your gift. Congratulations. What is your name? Bradley. Congrats. Round of applause for Bradley for sitting in the right spot. Thank you. And the last one, what is your name? Verushka, you can keep your ribbon. Congrats, guys. So, I think just to kick things off, let's have a word of recognition. You can have a look over here. Look on the front cover. There happens to be a quote from a very special business mentor and friend of Nevi's, who is the founder and CEO of the Tasha's Group. Natasha Sideris has personally endorsed this book by saying, Nevi has articulated valuable success principles in an engaging and inspiring way. And I think certainly if any of us need any direction moving forward out of COVID and a very difficult season for business in general, this is a great start. I'd like to invite one of Nevi's friends to come and take the stage. And this is not just a friend, but a mentor. And I don't think that any of us would be where we are without solid, reliable, wise counsel around us. And certainly I wouldn't either. The first person I'd like to introduce is Sarah Bullen. Sarah Bullen is a multi-published author, an international writing coach and literary agent. And Sarah has written 3 non-fiction books, the latest of which is Write Your Book in 100 Days, Stop Mucking About and Just Write. I like that. Her journalistic writing can be found in magazines that stretch back for over 2 decades. She worked with Nevi to get her book written, placed, and published. Please help me welcome Sarah Bullen.
Thank you very much. Well, I firstly want to tell you that it is not easy to write a book. It's really not easy. It's easy to think you've got a story. It's easy to know you've got a story. And in fact, a lot of us think we have things to share. We know it. But how many people really take the next step and write it down? Not many. One of them is sitting in front of you. Not many, 2%. 2% of people who know they've got a book, want to write a book, desperately want to share, actually write it. And to do it is massive. It is a marathon. And I'm saying this because I have written 12 books. The last one, I Ghost Roads. And every time it is an huge endeavor. It is one of the hardest journeys. But this has not daunted Nevi, who came onto my mentorship with an idea for a novel. And as we started chatting, I asked her about her business. She started telling some of the stuff she's achieved. This incredible business she's built. The leap of faith she took, jumping out of corporate and just starting something all on her own. Of course, with her right-hand man next to her and her partner. And I just said, this is amazing stuff, Nevi. And she took the bit between her teeth, as I think many of you know Nevi can do and does. And she started writing a book along with the people around the world. And the person who finished was Nevi. The person who persisted was Nevi. Not only did she write it, not only did she dig deep and find those stories, the lessons she's going to share with you, she took it a step further and she made it better. And then she edited, and then she got opinions on it, and then she did it another round. And she took it all the way, and that's really what it takes. And it really is remarkable when somebody, as Brené Brown says, steps into the arena, who really stands up and says, I have something to say. I've lived something, I've done something. And I'm not just going to tell you at dining room tables, I'm going to write it down, because that is really the powerful medium she has started to play in. So I expect to see Nevi on stages all over the world, sharing these incredible lessons that these are the lessons business school, as she'll tell you, does not tell you. This is what you need really to know. So to acknowledge her brilliance and to acknowledge what it takes, really what it takes to have this down here in front of you. Also, just to mention on the side that she has just finished her second book. Yeah. And this one is the novel, and this one I think is going to be out there, selling out there in the UK, all over. So also just to encourage all of you to read South African books. Yeah, okay, Richard Branson says amazing stuff about being an entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you, Nevi says better stuff. So really, buy South African books, choose South African authors. But more than that, when you pick up a book, and I always say this to people who want to write a book, it's the energy you're buying. You're taking a piece of this business she's created, this energy, this firecracker, you're taking it home, you're putting it on your shelf. You can just take a look at it, and you can tap into that exciting woman who has done these remarkable things and achieved so much. So well done, Nevi. And thank you all.
Wow. Well, Nevi, also, personal note, thank you from all of us for having an event that we can all get dressed up and come out. I'd now like to introduce another mentor and friend of Nevi's, and this is none other than Michelle Roberts. She is a doctor who also holds her MBA. She runs a skincare distribution business, and she has taken the teachings from experience in medicine and pharmaceutical marketing and has applied these to run a niche business. This business supplies a luxury skincare brand to health spas in Africa, the UK, and Europe. Her passions are creativity, customer engagement, and helping other women be their best selves, and she has done that indeed. Please help me welcome Michelle Roberts.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Nevi. I feel so privileged and honored to be here introducing you. I wanted to start off and tell you a little bit about Nevi, those of you who don't know her. She runs a very successful events and marketing company. She started that company after 20 years in corporate. 13 of those were in the pharmaceutical industry. She has an absolute passion for learning, a passion for self-development, and also for solution making. She has a very solution-orientated nature. And so starting a business and running a business, she actually completely thrives in. She loves chaos. And she's very happy to fail, to take risks, to take on challenges, and wanted to share that whole experience with us through this book. I met Nevi 20 years ago when we were working in the pharmaceutical industry together, and I needed a new personal assistant. Nevi, against overwhelmingly negative advice from her co-workers, came to work with me because I was known to be extremely tough, and I think she saw it as a challenge, which I think way back when says, so much about her. I think she saw me as a challenge. She accomplish what you can and stay alive. And thanks to her work ethic, her professionalism, and her incredible emotional intelligence, she's survived to write a book. One of the things that I wanted to say about Nevi as well is that you'll have gathered she's an independent thinker. She has a giant sense of humor. And I thought it was so beautifully celebrated in the title of the book, Mind Your Own Business. So what I also wanted to say about Nevi is that, her trajectory from being a personal assistant to entrepreneur to debut author doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, she has got the personal attributes to achieve in bucketfuls. She's determined, she's focused, she's got this irrepressible creativity and enthusiasm and curiosity. And, I'm not at all surprised 20 years on that Nevi has actually achieved what she has today. One thing that I have always appreciated, and I've known Nevi a long time, is that she has this sensitive forthrightness and this honesty. So I'm extremely excited to read the book because I know that the lessons that are in the book are going to be original and they really are going to be authentic. The other thing about Nevi, and those of you who know her, is that she has this incredible drive to serve others. And so what you are going to get in the book is a lot from her. She's going to give you everything. So I think it's going to be a really worthwhile read. Some of the things, because this book is about lessons and learning, some of the things that I learned from Nevi way back when, because at that time, theoretically, I was her boss. I can tell you, Nevi taught me an enormous amount. I can remember we had an office right down at the end of a corridor at our pharmaceutical company, and I would be stressed and overwhelmed. Nevi would come bouncing down that corridor, an enormous smile on her face, and she would just come in, and there would be a little anecdote about some encounter she'd had with a co-worker or a colleague. We would laugh and laugh and laugh. And then she would just say to me, I still remember it, and I still actively do it. She used to say, just kill them with kindness. And this was when finance had just increased your sales target and decreased your expenses budget. And I will always remember that about Nevi, about her generosity towards others and just this incredibly beautiful spirit. The other thing is that even then she had a lot of strategic foresight. I mean, she didn't really need to, but she was always in my office saying to me, well, have you thought about that? And, there could be a problem here, and maybe what we should do is the following. And I was like, yeah, Nevs, that's fantastic. Let's do that. And it was completely outside the scope of her job, but way back when she was already practicing, excellent strategic foresight. One of the things also that Nevi really taught me at that time, and bear in mind this was 20 years ago, is that the real value and importance of women standing together in what was quite a male-predominant environment. She also taught me not to submit to a predominant culture that really evaluated behavior based on gender. And she taught me the profound value of choosing to stand together with other women. And it's one of the things that I really respect and value so much about you, Nevi. The last thing I wanted to say about Nevi is that Nevi very rarely backs down, okay? So if I'm in a place where there's something going on, I would really like Nevi by my side. As she says, in the spring showers and the electrical storms, she is, in old parlance, a real trooper. She's an inspiration, and she's an extremely professional woman.
The words hit like a ton of bricks crashing down on me from the open sky, and quite honestly, it hurts a lot. Not a dull headache, but an intense grief, offering no relief or direction.
Hello everyone. Good. I am so delighted to see all of you here today. So you need to bear with me. I'm juggling a mic here, a mic here. I'm not used to all of these fancy contraptions, and I've got a slide changer. That's complicated already for me, so just bear with me. So I'm so excited to see all of you here today, and thank you for making time. One of my ex-managers told me it's a public holiday and he's here, so that works out really well. The COVID-19 lockdown brought with it unanticipated twists and turns. We went from working 6 to 7 days a week to a complete halt. Those of you that know me well know that I'm generally occupied with some sort of project. Idleness is kind of foreign to me. And during the second month of lockdown, with all the uncertainty that hung over us, I decided to pursue a fascination and a dream of mine. I made contact with Sarah, embarked on a writing mentorship, and was directed to author a business book. What I started writing about is the secrets that I unlocked during the School of Hard Knocks, those that business school did not teach me in the form of 12 lessons. Lesson 1, rewards based on action, not intention. I elaborate in this lesson how the best intentions of delivering, executing, accomplishing, and achieving means absolutely nothing without action. I include ideas, how to challenge yourself, and the most common pitfalls that you may experience when you feel those gaps and those holes making you sink further, and how you can plan some strategies to change the outcome for the next business season. Do you want to improve your financial situation? Then look for ways to make money and save money and act. Do you want to make new friends? Then network. Get noticed, introduce yourself, and act. Do you want to lose those extra kilos that you accumulated over lockdown? Then diligently follow an eating plan, hit the road at the treadmill, and act. Anything you want to achieve will only materialize if you take bold and decisive action. A desire or wish, hoping, promises, all of that does not work until you take action. You really have to act. Lesson 2, entrepreneurs can have the best strategies and plans in the world, but if they don't believe in themselves and their offering, they're more likely to give up or fail. There are some beliefs that have the potential to make you a more successful entrepreneur. Beliefs that generally empower people, drive you to work harder, and allow you to make better decisions while getting through all those obstacles. The obstacles are always going to be there. There are 5 belief shifting strategies that I share in this lesson that will make a noticeable difference to any business and individual. We all inevitably is going to experience some sort of challenging circumstances and experience some tough situations. Self-doubt may creep in to question the decision-making process. And then you start thinking if you have what it takes to outsmart the struggle. One of these belief shifts includes surrounding yourself with the right people, the people you believe in, the people whom you admire and respect, to see you through the finish line, through all of those difficulties. None of us are born with confidence. Self-confidence plays an important factor in career growth. It sometimes takes a certain degree of vulnerability to deal with something you don't know the end result of. You might not know the end game, but you have what it takes to push yourself, get some confidence going, and take that proverbial plunge. This lesson includes ideas and ways on how to do that. We've all been there, that adrenaline-charged moment when you have a great business idea. The next thought is inevitably like pie dough, but instead of buttery goodness, we start feeling anxiety, fear, and stress. Questions that I sometimes ask myself: am I able to commit full-time 7 days a week? Can I take on all the risks? And how long is it going to take for me to see results? I have yet to come across a successful entrepreneur who has not gone through all the motions of dealing with inadequacy or uncertainty and all of those emotions that stop you from moving forward. Feel the butterflies in your tummy? Great. Feel like throwing up? Wonderful. Those are all expressions of your desire and your craving to succeed. And the best way to overcome this is to use that raw energy and transform it into some momentum so you can be moving on and up. Failure is part of the process. Amazon is one of the leading success stories of the connected online age. But what most people don't know is that before Amazon became a household name, the CEO of the company experienced a succession of failures. One that comes to mind for me is an online auction site. The brand did not succeed, but CEO Bezos was determined, and he promptly reworked the strategy and created what we know as the Amazon platform today. I am so grateful for his persistence, because today I get to sell my book on his platform. In 1992, J.K. Rowling was jobless, penniless, and divorced with a baby. She had 3 chapters of Harry Potter in her suitcase, and she fled to her sister's house. Despite her understandable depression, she kept writing until she had a book. She approached 12 prominent publishers who all rejected Harry Potter. She finally found a small publishing house that decided they would print 1,000 copies. As you know, she has since won countless awards, books, and films, and she's one of very few authors to have reached billionaire status. And the rest, they say, is history. How many chocolate lovers do we have in the room? Hershey's is one of the most recognized brands in chocolate making. What you don't know is that before Milton Hershey founded the company, he was fired from his job at a printing company. Milton then tried his hand at 3 different startups, all of which failed. He finally struck it lucky when he initiated the Hershey's company that resulted in making his confectionery a household name. Don't know what I'd do without Hershey's chocolate. Lesson 4, becoming a successful entrepreneur isn't just about starting your own business. You have to become a student of business and a leader of people. Managing a business is not all about charisma and glory. You've got to get into those unglamorous jobs, get into the trenches with your people, and earn their respect. The other thing that I learned was that I learned the ins and outs of my business model by getting in there, doing everything from answering the phone calls, picking up boxes, doing anything that I had to do. My early years in corporate, coupled with having a temperament that makes me a doer, a natural leader, and an optimist, taught me many lessons. I exercised all my objectives with the same zeal and was compensated with high appraisal ratings, appealing incentives, gracious salary increments, and was top of the bonus structure. I put this down to one thing that I did really well. I understood how to work hard. What you need to know is that I had to unlearn this mindset really fast when I started managing a team, and I had to have a new approach. This African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, is something I used to create the heart of the company. These 16 words may seem meek and unassuming, but they overflow with wisdom and truth. Lesson 5 highlights the details of 4 types of business relationships you need to develop as a business owner. Developing relationships is crucial to any business, whether you're building a team, you're growing your customer base, negotiating with suppliers, applying for a business loan, or networking with your colleagues. If you ever heard the phrase, "It's all about who you know," then you will understand why this is so important. What if I told you there is a simple way to grow a stronger bottom line? Focus on developing and nurturing relationships. Every individual, in whatever capacity they operate, embrace some sort of relationship. Treating everyone you meet with respect is something that I had to learn a long time ago, and it served me really, really well. We have experienced lots of inspirational ideas and stories between a supplier and clients that will give you hope. You will have to read about those in the book. With all of that said, however, there may come a time where you have to walk away from a client relationship. I have listed some of those in the book too, because sometimes it is better to lose a client than to lose your integrity. Lesson 6. The spirit of adventure isn't something you are taught. It is something that you have to develop from within over time, and it becomes who you are. It develops in individuals that demonstrates a true passion for building something great from nothing, and they're willing to push themselves to achieve limits and those big, hairy, audacious goals. This is the land where creativity and possibility live. And these are the seeds that I have learned to sow for success. It doesn't have to be crazy, out of this world, big cost implication kind of adventures. They are everywhere in your business if you just pay attention. When I decided to step out of my comfort zone and change it up a little to see what difference I could make, I was amazed. I entered a world of enormous possibility and creativity, and I embraced little adventures everywhere. I started seeing them. I started opening my eyes and ears, and I found them everywhere, just waiting for me to take action. We started a hospitality mobile bar division after we previously outsourced the service for many years. And because we have the expertise internally, and I was open to give it a go, we added a new arrow in our quiver. Saying yes to the calculated unknown resulted in joy, success, and great accomplishment for all of us. Oh, I should tell you that there are lists in almost every lesson. I love lists. Like this one. Some of them are helpful, like 20 healthy snacks for people on the run, like you and me. Some of them are humorous. 10 things entrepreneurs are tempted to do at stressful times. Some of them are serious. 7 do's and don'ts for entrepreneurs. Lesson 7. Today, most successful entrepreneurs and business owners share one thing in common: world-class service excellence. People ask me often whether I believe that excellence or service excellence is an attitude or a skill. Throughout my time in business, over the years, I have learned that for the most part, it's an attitude. However, you do need both in order to be effective in delivering a holistic service. People aren't just lucky to stumble across service excellence in business. It's that deep desire for wanting to be more than average, more than just good. Whether you're deeply invested in your career or just starting up a business, each day you make choices. This lesson will cover those choices and help you shape the type of person you want to be. Many business owners feel that going the extra mile is simply not worth it because so few customers appreciate it. I have noted the same. and have realized that although this certainly has to be proportional, far more customers walk away happy and contact you when they have work to offer. I want to tell you a short story. Lily Robinson, a 3-year-old in the United Kingdom, wrote a letter through the help of her parents to her favorite grocery store, the Sainsbury grocery chain. The letter queried why their tiger bread was not called giraffe bread. Lily was clearly attentive because the bread did look like having a giraffe print. Of course, most of these letters are simply met with a thank you. But to Lily's parents' surprise, the store manager, or the customer service manager actually, wrote back and said, I think renaming it to giraffe bread is a brilliant idea. A few months later, the bread was repackaged and renamed giraffe bread. Well, how awesome is this? And what a great example of listening to your customers and taking their feedback into account, even if it's a 3-year-old. Effective business leadership demands a captain of the ship, not just someone standing at the helm, not someone that's passive. You've got to get active. This lesson paints the various skills that you need to develop to move forward. New businesses are not established in the top business districts of the world. They're created and built between the hammer and the anvil. We are regularly faced with 2 equally unpleasant courses of action, and you have to make a tough evaluation, and finally a choice. But when the glitches come, most business owners fail to make that choice. Their course of action hastily gets into a frenzy to try and fix everything, hoping that something will stick. And we don't realize that our willpower is finite, and trying to fix everything may result in a dismal heap, with nothing being fixed at all. Today's employees are more focused on finding a company that has a positive, strong company culture, revolved around learning and growth. Having each and every team member aligned with your business goals is a substantial step to success. The second part of this lesson shares the benefits of having a cultivated team and adapting a learning culture in your organization. Developing a learning culture is no longer just a fanciful idea or a tick box mentality. It is becoming more and more imperative for companies to cultivate learning if they wish to stay ahead in business. Creating a culture of learning benefits everyone. Whether you have a small or big company, whether you're an employee or an employer, look to start embracing those opportunities. The content of this lesson is very close to my heart because I am continually intrigued by the many ways personalities contrast, combine, and create harmony. Today's workplace is a melting pot of diversity, people from all backgrounds, cultures, experiences, all coming together to collaborate on a common cause and to achieve a common goal. But what we start doing, because we varied in all forms, we start inspiring each other and irritating each other and everything in between. Understanding what makes your co-workers tick can be difficult. You can learn this by learning how personalities operate. Learn your own and then others, so that you can get the best out of each individual. Very early on, I decided to spend a fair amount of time learning to understand my own and other personalities, because we spend more than 8 hours a day together with the same colleagues. I was amazed at what I learned along my business journey. The experiences of education of people will not govern the type of relationships you have with them. It is their personalities. I have encountered numerous personality assessments of my years in the corporate space, some ranging from 30 minutes to 5 hours, to 2 days, to 1 week. The higher you get in the pecking order, the longer the assessments work. And in the book, I make reference to descriptions from the personalities, from Personality Plus by Florence Littauer, which I find really, really relatable. Allow me to display some attributes of the four temperaments through the Winnie the Pooh series. In Milner's Winnie the Pooh, the contrasts between the temperaments are highlighted by various incidences. When the easygoing, phlegmatic Winnie the Pooh is wedged into the entrance of Rabbit's home because he got bigger from eating too much, the choleric Rabbit visibly becomes irritated and swiftly gets into gear to take charge. Do you automatically think of some people as you read this and listen to me? There are some topics that I elaborate on in Lesson 10. Personality and learning styles, personality conflicts, does an adaptable personality exist, cultural disparities, and how EQ differs from personality traits. There is a general mindset among business owners about putting in tons of hours now as to have an awesome life in the future. This must be tempered with other rhythms to ensure investment in family, bodies, and souls. It is recommended that business owners or leaders take time out, and this lesson emphasizes the benefits and the long-term effects of carving out that time. I learned that time is a created thing. This was really difficult. It was a difficult concept for me to grasp and to understand. I don't know if I can find any others in the room that feel like I do. Are you one of those that feel that you have to be in control of everything and have the finger on the pulse of everything happening around you? It was as I was reading for the second time Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People when I experienced a light bulb moment. And I picked up this line that my mind had not noticed before. By taking time off and re-energizing, you are maximizing your productive capacity and sharpening your strategic thinking and leadership abilities for the long term. This was enough to make me sit up and take notice. I want you to reflect on this phrase if you own a business. If your business can't run without you, you don't really own a business. You own a job. A propensity for personal growth is one of the most valuable attributes one can have. As an entrepreneur, I faced a lot of challenges throughout my journey. Learning and growing from them was the only way that I was able to continue moving forward, improve my situation, and stay motivated. I had to develop mental toughness. There are countless ways to develop this toughness by enacting certain mental exercises. In this lesson, I share some valuable exercises that have worked for me. Personal growth is always on the top of my priority list, and I hold it in high value. I see 2 of my previous mentors and managers in the audience that have instilled the culture of continuous learning in me, and I'm so grateful to them. I have included 15 exercises that I have found useful. Here are a few. Conduct a time inventory. Make a note of 5 things that you are thankful for daily. Dare to stretch your mind. Conduct a rationality audit on your inner circle. Re-evaluate your past and censor the nonsense. The coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, may be wreaking havoc across the world and has no doubt changed our society and the way we will do business now and in the future. But that doesn't mean that you can't take some control back. By reading this book, you can continue to be the best version of yourself and a top shelf leader. I would like to invite Nicole, Sarah, and Michelle on this side, please. They didn't know this was happening, so that's why the delay. I am so humbled and appreciative of all of you. You will probably not know how much it means that you're here today. Nicole Austin, ex-Mrs. South Africa, previous runner-up survivor, South Africa, TV and radio personality, pharmacist, business owners. Gosh, I can't remember the rest. The list goes on. You taught me something. But I want to tell you first, you earned my respect from the first day I met you, and it has grown exponentially since then. You've taught me how to stand out instead of fitting in. Thank you. Sarah. Without Sarah, I wouldn't be here today. Sarah is brilliance on steroids. She's helped me celebrate my debut book today. She pushed me, pinched me, all kinds of things, mentored me, coached me, inspired me, smoothed out my rough edges. It is rare to find someone like Sarah who wants you to achieve and makes sure you do it. Thank you. As you heard, Michelle is a successful businesswoman. Michelle was a director when I met her 20 years ago, just a little over 20 years ago. You taught me that titles don't matter. I was at the bottom of the food chain, and you treated me with the same respect that you did your director on the other side of the corridor. You taught me that learning is ongoing. Michelle is currently engaged in completing another degree. I'm not sure if I can tell you, but I'm going to anyway. She's completing her master's in philosophy, international business. You radiate humility, and you've taught me how to be a better leader. Thank you. To everyone in this room, you may look around and see a small group of people. I see the impact you have made on me. You may not remember, or you may think it is small and insignificant, but that's all we need. Little things that have great impact. Thank you for celebrating today with me. I am completely, totally humbled and grateful. Thank you.
What an incredibly inspirational woman who has achieved so much, and it feels like you've already got 14 books on the shelf. Because you're not walking into a new space. This is your space, which you just own so beautifully. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for sharing some of the principles of that book. And I can honestly say that I have achieved a lot of what I've achieved in my life because of people even in this room. And one of those is Nevi. And I think it's definitely time that we're more conscious of exactly who is around us and how they've helped us and how we can add value to their lives. So step one for everybody here is you actually came out to support Nevi's book launch. But I think step two is actually taking home a copy of her book without a doubt, to go and read it, not just to add value to her new book that is being launched, that is going on sale, but also to add value to your life and the people in your immediate circle in your businesses. I mean, I was thinking about this as we were going through it, and why and who would need a book like this. And maybe you can start thinking about yourself and what sort of environment you work in. Certainly if you're an employee, if you're a great employee, then you take ownership of your job and you actually look at it as if it's your own business. And in that case, you'd certainly need every single one of those principles that Nevi went through. If you've just started your own business, if you've had your own business for a while and maybe you're encountering challenges that are, everybody who has their own business has regular new fresh challenges. And I think just so beautifully packaged, and you can hear that Nevi is so well researched and read. She has immersed herself in personal development over the years, from all the greats to possibly all the little secret books we might never have discovered before, and put that together with her own very relevant South African perspective of a strong woman in business. I don't think there could be a better read than this right now. Can we have another round of applause for Nevi? I hope you guys know that Nevi never does anything just for herself, and in this process she's decided deliberately to support Green Pop. What an incredible organization. You should go and do your own research on them. I encountered them a number of years back, and for every 10 books sold, she will be planting a tree and then supporting its growth for the next 10 years. Is that right? So that is a real significant contribution, and that is her decision to make something more of this book. than it already is. Please make sure that you scan the QR code. I'm still learning how to do that, but most new phones actually tell you it's a QR code when you take a photo. There's a QR code on the banner and on the banner at the back as well. Please make sure you have a look at that. It'll take you to the website, to all the social media pages. Follow, stay in touch. And then as you're reading the book, won't you send your feedback? I think that's the best part about it. A lot of international authors that I've followed, and I've completed some of their courses and read some of their books, you actually become part of a club and a family. And it's an evolving process. And this is definitely not the first and last book from Nevi, as we've heard. And to be able to be part of that and send your feedback and your stories and maybe even some business anecdotes of how certain lessons helped you in different environments, I think that would be quite incredible. So you can own your own copy of the book today at a special pre-launch price of $2.99, and that includes a free bookmark and a bag that goes with it. So that is, and also you get to have it signed today by Nevi herself, which I am definitely standing in that line. There is also, as I said, a free bookmark and a bag, but there is also a special embossed copy that there. This is a limited edition. I have sanitized my hands as I clear my throat. You can all come up and touch it later individually, sanitized. But it is a special embossed copy up front, and those are going for $3.99, and that, like I said, is a limited edition. And get your book signed. Come and grab a copy of the book and get it signed. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. And don't forget to mind your own business.
When all three have offered their opinions, they turn towards me for my verdict. All three responses have shaken me to my core, but only one can move me past this feeling. This day will be remembered forever. The day when unexpected events yanked me from my familiar routine, nudged me out of my comfort zone, and allowed me to answer big questions about what matters most and what my life is really worth.